everyone. Yeah, I've got a bit of camera trouble, like just seems to happen to me. I don't know why, but anyway.
Look, we're both not the luckiest of people.
If they had have seen what we just did behind scenes, right? Now, what did we have to do?
Well, oh, Jesus, with the tongs, for the smoke alarm.
Well, the smoke alarm was clicking, going off because the batteries are dead, so we couldn't reach it, and someone here in the audience decided that they could do it for us, but we got some kitchen tongs, and, you know, like, women are just so capable at situations like this.
Shout out.
Don't you find that? So
thank you, Sean. Really helpful.
Yeah, thank you, Sean, and thanks,
Couldn't have done it without you.
No, well, one person held the other person up while they got the tongs, and here we are now, sitting here without the smoke alarm going off every 5 minutes. So, okay, let's just get down to the whole, your family life.
Mm-hmm.
So, you were one of three?
I'm the youngest of three, and I'm the only girl. So.
Well, how was that growing up, like having brothers and being the only girl?
I loved it.
Yeah.
The best ever. I always wanted a sister when I was younger, but after Mum and Dad had me, Mum actually wanted to have another baby, and my dad said no, she'll make good friends. We don't need another one. Well, he wasn't wrong. So I've had Steph for the last 14 years.
Yeah.
Just can't get rid of her.
So for everyone, that's Steph Patterson, who is on and has been on in a little mini series that we've done recently. And Steph is your best friend.
Yes.
Of 14 years.
Yeah, going on 14, maybe 15. Like I said, I don't know. She's just been around for years.
And I noticed that you've got your beanie on for the Cancer Foundation.
Yeah, I actually
Foundation.
need to buy the one for this year. This is last year's one, but...
Aren't they gorgeous? Like, what a beautiful way to raise money and awareness. And they're warm. Like, they just look gorgeous.
Yeah.
Anyway, so...
Hoofball.
Yeah, but they're just beautiful. It's such a lovely way of, you know, making people aware of...
Yeah, definitely.
That
Not a lot of
situation.
people actually know that brain tumours specifically is one of the leading things that kill young Australians.
Is that right?
Yes.
Brain tumours.
Brain tumours, yes.
Wow, and you're a nurse too, Gabby,
Yes.
right? So let's go back to you growing up with your brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And your story tonight is how you, in fact, lost both your brothers on separate occasions.
Yep, 3 years apart.
3 years apart. So let's go to Sam. Was he the eldest or the youngest?
Eldest.
Eldest.
Firstborn, yep, eldest. He was 21, and in 2009 he committed suicide, which was pretty heavy for like the family. Some of my family don't actually know he committed suicide. They still think he fell, which probably makes them feel better, which is fine.
Well, people have different ways of dealing with that situation, don't they?
Definitely. Yeah, I don't know, it's really weird. I remember the day so well, but it's like kind of blurry at the same time. I just remember waking up, being at the door, opening it and seeing that there was 2 police officers standing there and being like, oh fuck, what have they done now? Like, what one is in trouble? And then...
Were they like that? Were they always doing...
Oh yeah, they were
mischievous.
Little mischievous bastards. Yeah, so, gave Mum a bloody run for her money, that's for sure. But yeah, it was literally like, what have they done now? And then there was 2 detectives and a officer in a uniform there, and they're like, we need to speak to you. And like, I remember being sat down on the couch with my mum, and they had to show us photos to identify him. And then I had to tell my other brother that Sam had been, you know, in an accident, had died, and then he had to come over, and I had to tell my dad. And I remember the first person who wasn't my family was Steph. I actually rang her, and her and her mum came over straight away. And yeah, it was just...
So
I remember everyone coming over and just being really supportive and being so shocked as well.
he jumped from the parking station at Charlestown Square. Now, for a lot of my overseas viewers, you won't know that, obviously, that shopping centre, but it's Charlestown Square here in Charlestown, Newcastle, New South Wales, Australia. And there is a little plaque there, isn't there? So
Yes.
I'm encouraging people out there that maybe have lost someone close to them through suicide, that when they're next going to Charlestown Square, that they could do a little something, you know, leave a little flower, even a little message, you know, it'd be lovely. Just visit him. It'd be really nice, and it's near the Myers car park, is it?
The Myers car park.
Yeah. And there is a plaque there.
Yeah, near the loading dock. There's red flowers that are taped there. You'd see it. If you drive past there regularly, you'd know exactly where
Well,
it
now
is.
we know that it's there. So that happened in what year? 2009.
2009.
Okay, so you'd said to me, like earlier when we were chatting, that he attempted suicide prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people were saying it wasn't suicide, he must have fell.
Yeah, so a few weeks prior to him actually being successful, as horrible as that sounds, he had tried and been unsuccessful, had realised what he was doing was wrong, and pulled himself up, and because he had actually had the noose around his neck, he had marks on his neck probably for about a couple of days until they went away. And I remember that was when Mum was like, we need to do something, got him, took him to the hospital, and they wouldn't do anything because he physically presented so well. Like there was nothing wrong.
So when he presented to the mental health team at the local hospital, and you're a nurse too, so you can understand all this. So he presented so well, even though he'd done what he'd done.
Yep. And that's one that I know about, that he, you know, openly told us about, that he had a problem, but you know, you don't know what people do, especially when you're that depressed.
Did you discuss anything with him when you saw that on his throat? Like, did you talk to him about it? So no one said anything to him, really?
Didn't talk about it. It was like a non-subject. We just knew that Mum was taking him to hospital, and then he came back and everything was like fine.
Just like that. Excuse me. So, what did you think about that, like yourself, about that whole situation? Did you, well, to me, you seem very close to him.
Yeah.
Did you discuss it with your other brother?
Jacob. Growing up, Jacob and I actually used to fight quite a lot. But when obviously we needed the other one was there. But mostly we argued a lot.
Sorry, everyone.
He'd probably tell you that I ruined his life the day they brought me home from hospital. Yeah. But me and Jacob always used to fight, and then after Sam passed away, he was like one of my best friends, and then he got sick because he had a brain tumour that had come back again and had progressed to a stage 4 brain tumour. So he got really sick, and I just spent a lot of time at home with him and just being close with him.
So had Jacob had a brain tumour prior?
Yes.
And he got through that okay?
Yes. So he was 16. He was quite a healthy boy, played football, had, you know, lots of friends, partied, and was a good kid. Mischief, but was good.
That's what boys do, right?
Yeah. But out of nowhere he had a seizure, and we were very lucky that he was with people who were smart enough to ring the ambulance straight away, and he was actually in a car, so he was in a seatbelt. But yeah, from him being completely fine, healthy, happy kid, to he's had a seizure. It was probably like within the next week he was booked in to have brain surgery.
So there was no indication, like prior to that there was anything wrong with him?
No.
He just had the seizure.
So he
didn't have headaches or anything like that?
If he did, he didn't say anything about it, or that they were really bad. So.
And then, so he'd gone and had the brain surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So what did they do? Remove the tumour?
They removed as much as they could at the time, which was the size of a golf ball, I think they said. But because of where it is at the frontal lobe, it's where you hold a lot of your memory, and it's where your personality comes from. So as the brain tumour progressed and when it grew back and came back, his personality changed, and you know, he'd say different things and then realised what he had said, and you know, he again had to go through surgery and do all that. So he had brain surgery 3 times before he was 21.
Dear me.
Yeah.
So did you...
Radiotherapy and chemotherapy, which knocked the shit out of him.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible. You don't really have a normal life, do you?
No, it just...
And he just didn't recover from that?
No. Once the diagnosis was a stage 4 brain tumour, there's no recovery. That's cancer. That's terminal.
So hence why the hat,
Yes.
you know, the awareness, and like you said, did you, well, because you were at home, did you get to spend much time with him?
Yes. So, given the situation with Sam, I was still quite depressed. I went through a period of time where I didn't really leave my house or my bedroom. So, I spent a lot of time at home. It's like my little bat cave, my safe zone. And when he started to get sick, he would stay at home a lot and I'd stay with him, and then he'd go from my mum's house to my dad's house, and then he got too sick to be transported between, so he stayed at my dad's house. And then, like, I remember standing in the kitchen and making the decision between mum and dad and myself that he needed to go into a hospice because we just couldn't manage the pain anymore for him. Like, he needed to be somewhere where it was more...
Yeah, and you with your background,
yeah,
you felt that you'd made the right decision there to make him comfortable.
Yeah, definitely. I would really like to have kept him at home because I think that's what he would have wanted, but just given the time, we weren't able to, so it's just...
So what sort of things did you, like, talk about? Did he know that, well, he must have known, basically, that he wasn't going to pull out of it this time?
Oh, yes.
And did he talk about that to you? Like...
Not really. He was just someone who tried to always remain optimistic even to the very end, sort of thing. Never really asked why it was him or wished it upon someone else. He just sort of, like, copped it sweet. This is what's going to happen to me. This is my journey, and I'm going to ride it out.
Did he have many friends that kind of would hang out with him at home when he was first sick?
There's a few friends who, like, were just constant throughout his whole life, who now are very good friends with me as well. But to an extent, Jacob didn't want people to see him when he got too sick, so I had to tell people not to come anymore. And quite a lot of people didn't like that, so, but...
Why do you think that they didn't like it? Because they didn't get to see him, or...?
People didn't get to say goodbye, but he had a brain tumour since he was 16, he was 21 now.
Did you, it must have been hard as far as his personality changed, like how...
Oh, yeah.
Was that like...
Nasty. He got really nasty at one point, and because it's only like a momentary thing, he'll say it, and as soon as he said it, he'd snap back and say, "I'm so sorry, I couldn't stop that from coming out of my mouth."
So he realised that he'd done wrong,
Yeah.
He'd said wrong,
Yeah.
and he wanted to fix that.
Yeah, it's the brain tumour pushing on the part of the lobe that changed your personality.
So at that stage, you'd already lost your older brother?
Yes.
And you were now losing your younger brother?
Yes, who is also my older brother.
Right, okay. So How did you cope? Like, what did you do for yourself to be able to pull yourself through this?
I am so lucky I have the mum that I have, because of how she helped me with grieving in that situation, while she herself obviously was so
That'd be heartbreaking for a mother.
so traumatized and broken herself. But she has even said to me that it's hard to lose a child, but it was a lot harder for her to watch me just lay there, do nothing, basically just throw my life away. I wasn't doing anything like bad, because for a period of time I was worried I wasn't going to live past 21 because both of my brothers didn't.
So you actually thought that?
I really did. Like, it was a superstition that I wouldn't make it past 21. So I just lived in my little dome, in my safe little bubble, because nothing can happen when you're there.
So how did you go to work, or you weren't working then? You weren't working then?
Again, I'm very lucky I had the mother I had, who for the first few years just flat out supported me financially and emotionally, but Centrelink as well, not very sensational, but mum, 100%.
Wow. So your mum's watching tonight. If you had to say something to her, if you want to look at the camera, what would you say to your mum right now?
Thank you, and your mum and your dad would be so proud of the woman you are, both of them. Yeah. I'm proud of you.
It's beautiful. I mean, I can't imagine. I'm a mum myself, and I can't even begin to imagine losing one child, let alone two.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Do you think she, like when all this happened, do you
In
think...
the swoop of that, her father actually died as well, so she wasn't
Oh.
allowed, not that she wasn't allowed to grieve for her father, but just because it was bam, 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 so much was happening, it was like moving on to the next thing. So yeah, for a few years we had like, literally it was just shit. Excuse my language.
No, that's quite okay. So what sort of things would your mum do to get through? Like,
I don't know, she's like one of a kind, my mum. She's very hard to explain. You just have to meet her, I guess. She's been through obviously the same what I have, but through her life and being younger, she's been through a whole lot more as well. And you know, she actually lost her mum also to cancer when she was younger, watched her mum die from bone cancer, and then she had to watch her son die from a brain tumour. Yeah, she just...
what a remarkable woman.
I really, she's like the strongest person I know, you know what I mean? And she got quite a lot from people, from how she let me grieve and handle the situation, but...
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
A lot, yeah.
Oh wow, that's really sad.
Coddling her. She's never going to do anything.
How long did it take you to get over it? Like, I know you never get over it, so let me rephrase that. But how long before you could function again, like go to work, all that sort of thing?
So I got a job 4 years ago, and I had that job for 4 years, and I've only recently just moved to another facility. But 4 years ago, that time frame is probably when I've had a job, I've got my license. You know, at times I've moved out of home and had to move back through other things, but I don't know, like I feel like I'm at a point where I'm finally doing my life. I'm just doing it a bit slower than everyone else. And
How old are you now?
26.
26. Wow, I ought to be 26. So, oh look, I'm just so dumbfounded by the whole thing. It's just really knocked me. Yeah, I just can't even imagine what it would be like. It makes you think about your own life.
It does. And before Jacob had a brain tumour, I didn't know anybody who had a brain tumour. And then after he did, I met Steph, and her sister actually has a brain tumour. And then through work, I've met lots of people with different brain tumours. And my current partner now, when he was a child, had a brain tumour as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's just incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think it's because people understand it more and they investigate more. And they've got the facilities to do that.
Yeah.
Whereas a long time ago, people were just passing away and they didn't know why.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my belief system anyway, that I think now we have the technology.
Things are detected a lot sooner,
Yeah.
which are a lot easier to attack. Once it's progressed to a certain part, you're too far gone, which is sad, but it's life.
That is life. And like you said, you do things a lot slower now.
I try to. I'm still,
You kind of like
I'm still a
take it
very
in.
impulsive person. I'm a bit dumb, but I try and think about things more than what I normally would.
So what has this whole traumatic episode, what has it left you feeling like about your own life? And
Grateful. Grateful for the people I do have that are still there. I wouldn't say I've lost a lot of friends over the years, but people couldn't handle how sad I was, and which is fair enough. But I was very lucky that I had friends who just like wouldn't fucking leave me alone. So
stuck by you.
yeah, so and my mum is like my solid rock. So.
And how is your mum today?
I'd say she's doing better. She's doing really well. She's got, her partner. She's been with him for a while. They've bought some properties together and, looking forward to the future. And for a while there, it was like we didn't even speak about the future. That was not a thing. I'm at a point in my life now where I'm optimistic about possibly one day getting married and having a child. Whereas, for the last however many years, I really didn't care.
Do you talk about it with your mum?
Yeah.
About like both your brothers? Like
Yeah.
you discuss it, so it's open, the conversation?
I have a very open relationship with my mum. She's just,
What's your mum's name?
Joanne. I call
Hi,
her
Joanne.
Josephine though. Oh, Josephine.
Let's hope she gets a giggle from that, hey?
She's probably asleep. She's got night shift tonight.
Oh, okay. She'll watch it later on, I'm sure.
She's a trooper, so.
Is she a nurse also?
She is. She's an RN. She actually works at the same facility I work at, so.
So do you ever work together?
Nah, not normally, but normally see her at handover. Hi, see ya. Have fun. But it's nice.
So, Gabby, each and every week, my guests have a little couple of moments to leave a message of hope for someone. So let's just say that we've got someone in the audience right now, and I know one person in particular who lost her son, her young son, to suicide. And I also know someone also that's watching now that lost their son with a brain tumour. So if you were to leave a message of hope for someone that has gone through a similar situation as you, or is going through a situation right now, what would be the message of hope that you would leave them?
Talk about it. Reach out to someone. Just talk about it if something's going on, I guess. I don't know, we live in a world and a community where it's okay to be sad, but people are still very taboo on that sort of thing. So, I don't know, if you're sad or if you notice your friend is different, distant, just be annoying. Just be like, hey, what's going on, mate? Because that's what my friends did. And at the time, it was annoying for me. But I'm so thankful and grateful. Like now, I'm very lucky I had the people I did have.
So what we're saying, well, what I'm saying too, is that it's really important to talk about it. And like Gabby was saying, if you notice that, someone, a friend of yours, a neighbour, a relative, but if
your
someone's...
mum, your dad, your
Yeah.
brother, your sister, your auntie,
Anyone.
your uncle, anyone
that's acting a little bit strange or unusual to what they're normally like, that's what you're saying. Approach them. Talk to them.
And just because they say they're okay, it's been so many times people have asked me, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine.
But you're saying that because you want them to leave you alone for now, or you're saying that because it's easier to say that than tell them exactly how you're feeling?
That, and I don't want to burden people with what's going on in my head. I don't like what's going on in my head. So I just don't really talk about it.
And yet we're promoting the fact that we should talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it's so important to release it.
So...
And I mean, even if it's a phone call to Lifeline, if something's really getting you down, or you've noticed something, or, it's okay to talk to someone and tell your best friend. Someone will always have answers for you, or someone will have a way of helping you. And there's so many different organisations out there today that we can link into that can assist us in so many ways. So, give Lifeline a call if you have to and you're not sure about who to approach, or you don't want to tell any of your friends, or you don't want it to be known in your family. Ring Lifeline and talk to someone, or any other counselling service, and at least, get it out. I mean, that's the most awesome thing I can tell you right now, is not to bottle it in. So, thank you for coming on tonight, Gabby. I really do. I love the fact that you're just so together and you wanted to help other people get through their situation too, and make it be known that, it's okay to talk about it, because that is important.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to thank some of the beautiful people that every single week get here and watch the show and support everything I do. So Shireen Lowe, thank you. Lee Trimble, thank you. Samantha Jade, Rowena Barry, Marie Patterson, thank you.
Marie, tits, I see you.
Yes, can't wait to the housewarming.
Oh.
Yeah, we can't wait. Beck Patterson, Nathan Errington, thank you. Joanne.
Oh, Josephine is away.
Oh, Gabby's mum, yeah, thank you, Joanne. Bronwyn Newey.
Oh, I went to school. Hi, Bronwyn.
Sean Gabb's partner.
He's sitting in the room.
I'm going to go.
That's commitment.
That's love. Yeah, I'm going, yeah. Janie Robertson, Taylor Berry, thank you, Taylor. Philip Barrington, thank you, Philip. Georgina Harry, thank you, gorgeous girl. Chantel Sky, Bindi Monday Stevens. Annette Ray, Peter Egan Lee, Missy D, thank you.
Gunn.
Oh, thank you, Michelle, Missy D. Belinda Woods, Danny Gunn, Kira Allen, Lisa Patterson, Lisa Haynes. Thank you, Lisa. I'm looking forward to interviewing you next week. Natalie Hewitt, and I am looking forward to our interview also, Natalie. Jed White, Colleen Dandelion, thank you, Colleen. Tegan O'Connor, Ian Edwards, and I love you, Gabby from Steph. That's beautiful. So, thank you, everyone. Like I said, we'll be back next week. We're getting on to the 100 shows. We're up to show 87, I think it is.
We figured it out earlier. That was like an hour ago.
So, for those of you that would like to attend the 100th show on Wednesday, the 4th of December, 7 o'clock at the Croatian Club in Wickham. I'm having a wonderful show, lots of entertainment. On the night, we've got bands and music, and people are actually doing a release of their song for Spotify. We've got a lot of things happening on that night, and I will be interviewed about my life from my son and son-in-law on that night. And the questions are going to come from the audience, and the audience are made up from our beautiful guests that have been on the show. So you've got to be kind.
Oh, you barely... Nah. Kelly, you've just met me, doll. Wrong.
Please be kind.
Look, I can't promise you nothing, but I'll try.
Look out. Okay. Remember this face? Security, do not let this face in.
Hey.
Do not let this face in.
I'll have to wear a wig that night.
And glasses. So, thank you everyone for tuning in. Like I say, each and every week you make my life just happen, and I am living my dream, and there's so much to be said for living your dream. It's just so fulfilling. So thank you everyone, and I will see you next week. And knowing in life that you're going to be okay, no matter what, you're going to be okay. Thanks everyone.